Hi everyone from Manchester Piccadilly Railway Station. Well, it's the middle of January, it's been snowing, so I thought, well, what better day than this to head off to the seaside. Yes, I'm catching a train over from platform 14 actually. It's Northern Trains, they're going to take me over to Blackpool. About a year and a half ago, summer 2023, I took the coach, which took me about an hour and 20 minutes, but I remember it was really good value. We're going to see how the train compares on me, so come with me, head over there and we'll get on board. Platform 14 along with platform 13 are the two through platforms at Manchester Piccadilly, accessed via the stairs or escalators from the terminus platforms and well signposted. An interesting feature are these screens here which show the train movements to and from the station. The National Express coaches run to Blackpool from their dedicated coach station at Charlton Street, which is about a 10-minute walk from Piccadilly. They are timetabled to take 1 hour and 20 minutes, and I remember at the time I paid just £4 for my ticket. So today we're going to see how the train compares to that, and we're also going to have a look at the train itself in terms of facilities and comfort. And my train was due to depart at 11:02, and here it was arriving into platform 14 right on time. A class 331 Civity electric multiple unit built by CAF between 2017 and 2020. It was actually two 3-car units coupled together, this one, which was longer than I expected, but as you will see in a minute, it was quite busy. Upon boarding, I noticed the luggage on the train and wasn't surprised to find out that it had actually come over from Manchester Airport. I found a seat, one of the airline style ones for now, facing backwards but with views of the splendid Kimpton Clock Tower Hotel, a Grade 2 listed red brick and terracotta building constructed between 1891 and 1895. It was originally home to the Refuge Assurance Company. Now, we were just pulling away from Oxford Road here, the first stop on today's journey. Next up was Deansgate, opened in 1849, and after 2 station stops in 6 minutes, we're actually less than a mile from Piccadilly.
Is Deansgate. Mind the gap between the train and the platform edge.
There are actually 15 stops on this service between Manchester Piccadilly and Blackpool North, something that obviously distinguishes it from the coach journey, which doesn't make any. Now, this is probably why today's journey, timetabled to take 1 hour and 22 minutes, is actually 2 minutes slower than the coach. But it's not just about time, is it? In terms of comfort, well, you'll notice the train's quietened down a bit now, and I've moved to a table seat facing forward. The seats themselves, they were clean and quite smart looking. I do like the Northern Trains moquette. Quite a firm base on the seat, but yeah, comfortable enough for this length of journey. And note that there is power in the form of a single conventional UK style plug socket between the seats, and legroom was sufficient at these table seats, so absolutely no problems there. For comparison purposes with the coach though, I also had a look at legroom in the airline style seating, and that is a lot tighter. You do have a flip down table, but yeah, obviously the main difference between the train and the coach here is the ability to sit at a table seat if there is one available, and there is much more room with those, isn't there? And the table itself, incidentally, is large and well built. I certainly like the style and the colour scheme Northern have chosen here. There are overhead luggage racks on both sides of the train, as you can see here. A couple of other things to note: there is only one seat at the table next to the cab, which could be handy if you're travelling alone. And I do like the onboard display screens. They give you a lot more information than the old style dot matrix, don't they? And also, there didn't seem to be any litter bins. I'm not sure whether this is a conscious decision by Northern or not, but yeah, obviously there was quite a bit of rubbish left behind by passengers leaving the train. About 20 minutes after leaving Manchester Piccadilly, we were arriving into Bolton, which must be the largest intermediate station on the Manchester to Preston line. Opened in 1838 and formerly known as Bolton Trinity Street, the original main station building was sadly demolished in the 1980s, though these curved platform canopies here still looked pretty smart. Around 2.5 million passengers used the station every year, and lots of the remaining passengers did actually alight here. We were on time as we left Bolton, a smattering of snow still on the ground. We stopped at Lostock and Horwich Parkway, which were two fairly bland stations in my opinion, and then we came to Blackrod, which is a great name for a station, isn't it? Opened in 1841, it's another station that has changed its name. Originally known as Horwich Road, Horwich Station itself was just off a short branch line from Blackpool, but that closed in 1965. The thing that really caught my eye about this place was the large building here, which looks like an old goods shed, doesn't it? But if you know for sure, then please drop me a comment in the usual way. Plenty of wheelchair space and additional fold-down seating here by the accessible toilet that I'm just about to look at. I was interested to read that if you use a mobility scooter, you have to apply to Northern for a rail-ready permit. And if your scooter meets the requirements of the scheme, whatever they are, you get a personalised card and a sticker that you must display on your scooter at all times. Now, that's to stop it from being destroyed by the security services, presumably. And this is just for Northern. Other operators will have different policies in place apparently, and also you have to take all your shopping and all your luggage off the scooter prior to boarding, as it can affect the balance of the vehicle. I'm presuming they're referring to the scooter here, not the train itself, honestly. Anyway, back to the toilet, which was really good actually. Hot running water, liquid soap, hand dryer, toilet paper, everything available and everything working. The baby changing table was exceptionally clean, but alas, nothing was available to be swapped for me on this service today. There was a bin here, which was useful as I couldn't find any anywhere else on the train. All in all, yeah, pretty good toilet really, one of the best I've seen on the train and well maintained as well. We join the West Coast Main Line at Euxton Junction. The M6 motorway crosses the line here just before we come into Leyland with the prominent and beautiful Church of St Ambrose you can see towering over the surrounding houses. And look how nature is taking over the end of the platforms here as we pull into the station. Opened in 1838, there are actually 4 platforms here, but Northern are the only trains that stop. You can imagine the Avanti West Coast Pendolinos whizzing by, can't you, as we trundle up the line ourselves. I was hoping to see one or two, but we're really only on the West Coast Main Line for a short while, and we were soon approaching Preston, which is a major stop for all trains on this line. Before entering Preston station, we crossed the River Ribble, which has its origins near to a very famous railway viaduct in North Yorkshire. Can you guess which one? Clues in the name. The Ribble flows into the Irish Sea at Lytham, and just like the river, we gracefully run into platform 1. And right on cue, we do see a Pendolino arriving into platform 2 opposite. Right then guys, Preston just arrived, and we are about just under an hour into the journey so far. And yeah, we've just got to head up the West Coast Main Line for a little while, and then we branch off to the west towards Blackpool. I tell you what, the weather is fantastic, isn't it? It was a little bit dull leaving Manchester, but yeah, it's brightening up. It still looks really cold outside, but I'm enjoying it so far. Leaving the Grade 2 listed Preston station, the train was really empty. I mean, hardly anybody got on. Who would be daft enough to be going to Blackpool in the middle of winter? I tried out the Wi-Fi, which did connect, but it was pretty poor overall. I could just about get 1 or 2 photos to load on Bluesky, but yeah, YouTube wouldn't do anything much. Stick to mobile data if you can. The train turns off the West Coast Main Line at the appropriately named Fylde Junction, and shortly after this, an Avanti West Coast service passed us coming the other way. Now this threw me a bit, as I thought for a minute we hadn't left the main line. But I later discovered that Avanti actually run 3 services a day direct to Blackpool from London Euston. This is useful to know if you're heading to or from London, but it would have been no use for me today. And you see, being terribly old, it does have its occasional advantages, one of which was the ability to meet the requirements of the Northern Explorer 55 Day Ranger, which basically allowed me to travel on their central and western regions all day for £18.40. Well, I say all day, it's actually only valid from 09:30 hours Monday to Friday, but it is all day at weekends. For comparison purposes with the coach, a normal adult price for the train, one way, walk up sale, around about the same time as my journey, was a minimum of £10, coach £6.30. The cheapest advance fares I could find for the train were £7.30, and that's booked at least 3 weeks in advance. Coach, that remains at £4. My ticket was purchased on the train from the guard back at Crewe. The guard on this train wasn't interested in checking tickets, but I did have to show it again at the gate line when I got to Blackpool North because, guess what, it wouldn't scan. Anyway, we weren't far away now. Looks like there had been plenty of rain in the area prior to my visit. We'd already called at Kirkham and Wesham, and if you're headed for the Pleasure Beach and Blackpool South, you will have had to take the single track line that branches off shortly after this station. But we're carrying on, as most services do, to Blackpool North, calling first at Poulton Le Fylde with its massive station clock, and there's another one incidentally on the other platform. And opened in 1896 on a new section of gentler curving track down to Blackpool. It replaced the original Poulton Le Fylde station, which was located on the old line to Fleetwood. This necessitated a further section of line reconnecting it to the Fleetwood branch, but the whole lot was closed by British Rail in 1970. Leighton is our penultimate stop with its lovely station building over on Platform 1 here, opened in 1867 and originally known as Bispam, which is named after an area just to the north of Blackpool itself. We passed the sidings of Northern's Traction Maintenance Depot just outside Blackpool North, and then it's on to the terminus itself. And arriving onto Platform 5 on time, I disembarked the train and made my way towards the exit. And note the really long platforms here, synonymous with so many of the seaside towns where the holiday specials of yesteryear are long since gone. Now this must have been a really busy place once upon a time, but it should be noted that the station in its current guise has only been open since 1974. The station itself, it's a rather unglamorous affair these days in my opinion. The Welcome to Blackpool North sign over some locked doors and no entry barriers didn't really give a very good impression. Having said that, once I had found the entrance, it looked reasonably well kept inside. The roof here, incidentally, is the old 1938 excursion platform canopy, apparently. And seeing as I'd come all this way to visit the seaside, I made the 10-minute walk through the town, arriving on the seafront just next to the famous tower with views across the lovely sandy beach towards the North Pier and the Irish Sea. Alright guys, Blackpool in the sun pretty much, and it'd be rude not to come here on the train and not go to the seafront, wouldn't it? I've got Blackpool Tower actually right in front of me. If I just spin round, there you go, can you see that? But I'm in darkness, so I've got to go the other way, that's better. So let me know guys, would you come to Blackpool in the middle of winter on the train or the coach? What did you think about the train? Let me know in the comments below. For me, I've done both journeys now. There's not a lot to choose between the two. The train was absolutely fine, comfortable enough, reasonably clean, could do with a few more bins dotted about. But the journey times fairly similar. If anything, the train or some of the train services are timetable to take a little bit longer than the coach, but that all depends on traffic, doesn't it, with the coach. Price wise, the coach is a little bit cheaper, so if that's your only consideration, then take the coach, but honestly there's not a lot to choose between the two. I would do either in the future, and I would recommend either two. So thank you very much for watching, hope you enjoyed it. I shall catch you on another adventure soon, I'm sure, and until then guys, as always, cheers for now.